There's a ton of these shiny purple, colourful screws scattered across Pokémon Legends Z-A. From easy to spot ones to very hard to reach ones, these are really good because you can trade them in for different Canari Plushes that give you a variety of bonuses, from boosted experience, more money, more mega crystals, more player health, and even better capture rates so you can capture Pokemon even easier. These are something you definitely want to grab to improve your playthrough. But with 100 locations spread across the map, and only around 80 of them needed to get all of these Canari Plush upgrades, we thought we'd wrap all of these locations together in an easy to digest format so you can follow along and get them all for yourself without any hassle. This took us ages to do, and if you grab those last 20 to get 100, you even get a giant Canari Plush in your hotel room. If you didn't already know, you need to fast travel here on the map and talk to the person just outside to trade your colourful screws for these different plushies to get those extra bonuses and boosts to your different stats. Well, if this helped you out, drop a like below as we spent ages scouring the map to get all these locations in an easy to follow way for you. And well, let's kick it off. We'll start at the Pokemon Research Lab in the south of the map. Fast travel here, swing around to the right and follow along with us. You'll see some scaffolding just up ahead and it's fairly linear to get to this, no major tricks needed. Run up the ramp, go across this little plank, climb up the ladder after picking up that super potion because hey, why not? And then there's one more plank to cross. You can always look down on the camera or go slow if you're struggling, and here you can find your first colourful screw. Next, we'll go over to the Vert Pokemon Center, a little more over to the right side of the map. Run around the right here, down the alleyway to the left, and we're going to take a few turns down here in the alleys. So another right, and then another left as we go through the gate just up ahead. And just around the corner up ahead, you'll find a ladder that we want to climb. So keep going through the second gate here, and you'll see there's a ladder right here by the sort of water in the canal or the river. We're going to climb up to the roof, and we will have to do a Rotom Glide, so make sure you're past around main mission 10, which you will need the Rotom Glide for a lot of the screws anyway, so I recommend progressing in the game until you grab that. As you can see, just run off and Rotom Glide across to the other rooftop, and climb on up, and you'll see there's a ladder just up ahead, and a Lucario there as well if you want to grab that to, or a Riolu, sorry, if you want to grab that to catch it, because Lucario is pretty good and its Mega Evolution is pretty nice too. But just up the ladder, you can see our second colourful screw. Now we're going over to Hotel Z next. You all should have this, especially if you played the game. Even just for a couple of hours, you'll have this location. I'm pretty sure it's needed as part of the story. So head on out the main entrance, as you can see we are, and then head right. You'll see Wild Zone 1, which many of you will be familiar with when you first started the game. So we're going to have to go inside as we are, and then follow along the path that I'm going here, and you'll see there's a sort of tennis courts to the right where the exit to Wild Zone 1 is. So we're going to run past that, leave the Wild Zone here, and head on down the path just up ahead. Now you see there's a right turn that we took there and a bunch of scaffolding here around some of the greenery and the trees. So run on up the ramps in the scaffolding, and you can see there's our next colourful screw just at the top here. Grab the XP candy and walk along these planks. There'll be a bunch more items to grab along the way if you want to, but of course the colourful screw is here on the right of the plank. Now this next one is also from Hotel Z, so fast travel back to Hotel Z, and this time take the right turn as we did to the ladder that leads up to the roof. So head on up to the roof just like we are. Now from this point, you just want to run on forwards and jump down. There'll be a little bridge that you'll cross over to a different rooftop. You'll see a bunch of Mega Shards around that you can pop if you want to grab those Mega Shards, and you will need quite a few of them. Otherwise, follow along as we do and then jump and Rotom Glide to get onto this slightly raised rooftop where you can then jump off and you'll see some scaffolding. You can either Rotom Glide like that or climb up the ladders, whichever one works for you. Climb your way to the top of the scaffolding and you'll see there'll be a little dodge roll that you can do into another dodge roll to grab this next colourful screw that's in a little awkward spot to grab. Next, we're going over to this cafe here in the sort of south middle of the map. You'll see an elevator to the roof, but skip past that and head down the alleyway to the left, past the tennis courts, and then there'll be a right turn that we want to do. Follow along my path here, and do note in the grass across the road, if you have daytime and it's sunny, there'll be an Eevee there that you can always catch, just as there is for us. So catch that Eevee if you like it, because some really nice evolutions in this game if you do go for the evolutions. Otherwise, climb on up the ladder as you can see, and we're almost there now. Climb further so you vault up on the roof and do a little rotom glide across this gap here to the north. There'll be a little item you can pick up if you want to, and then you'll see there's a Beedrill, and just next to the Beedrill, there'll be the next colourful screw for us to grab. And next we're going to the Vernal Pokemon Center. From here, swing around and you'll see there's one of those elevators that takes you to a rooftop, so go on up. And then when you're up here, swing over to the left and you'll see a bunch of scaffolding with a bunch of colourful screws, so we're going to be grabbing these. Follow along the path I do, and what you'll want to do is basically jump down so that you can then go back up to the higher rooftop that we don't have access to unless we jump down. So jump down and then take the next elevator up to the top. And from here, we're going to have to do a little bit of almost like parkour. So this might take a couple tries, just repeat if you don't get it. But if you walk off the roof at this angle, bam, you can grab this colourful screw. And again, from the Vernal Pokemon Center, we're going to get the nearest screw that was there as well. So turn on back around, head on up the elevator here to get onto the rooftop. And this time, we're going to do a sort of similar thing, but we're going to go for a different colourful screw. So follow along the route I do. You see there's always a way to get back up on the roof here, but what we're going to want to do is dodge roll off and then use a little rotom glide to land on this raised platform, and then dodge roll off again to grab this colourful screw down in the middle. And once again, from the Vernal Pokemon Center, in a similar area to the last two, we're going to grab another one that's there. So head on up this platform to the rooftops. And what we want to do is go inside that courtyard with all the scaffolding so that we can go up on the just straight ahead platform to the top of the roofs opposite. So run on through, catch any Pokemon that you do or don't have as you desire, go on up this elevator here, and then take a left and loop around the left side of this roof, and you'll see just up ahead is a really easy to get colourful screw. Next, we're going from the Vert Pokemon Center a little more to the right of the map. Just head over to the right when you fast travel from that Pokemon Center, follow along my path along the pathway, and you'll see just up ahead is a little bit of scaffolding, really easy for this one. Just run on forwards across that plank and then bam, the colourful screw is right here, a really easy one to grab. Next, we're starting from the Vert Pokemon Center once again. We're going to go right, then immediately left, and left again into this alley. And we're going to follow this alley along. As you can see, just take the path I'm taking until you eventually get to a ladder onto the rooftop. So follow along through the first gate, take the turns that I do through the second gate here, and just around the corner on the right will be this ladder. Climb on up this ladder, and it's going to be really easy. There'll be some scaffolding with another one for you to grab. So once you're up the ladder, as you can see, walk along the edge. You'll see just down there on the scaffolding, we can easily walk down and drop down until we get that colourful screw that is right here. Next up, we're going to the construction building, and just inside of it, you can see behind the desk here at the back is the next colourful screw. Then again, we're going to go from the construction, the same spot, but we're not going inside. Instead, we're going to run this way. As you can see, just follow the road along, and there'll be an elevator here that isn't working. You need to do a thunder type move on this elevator, which will activate it. You'll get some rewards, and now you can use this to get to the top to the rooftop. From here, you can run forwards along the vines, then you take a right, and you'll see just after a little drop, there'll be another colourful screw right here on the edge of the roof. From the same starting point here at the construction, you can then grab another one. So we're going to head inwards towards the bridge there, but we're going to swing right and go up the stairs. You'll see just up these stairs will be a load of scaffolding, and we just need to climb to the top. So climb up the ladder here on the side, drop down and walk across this plank. Remember, if you're struggling to walk across the planks, you can always turn the camera directly down and go a bit slower. It makes it a bit easier. But this one's fairly straightforward, so just keep going, climb to the roof, and you'll see right on the edge here with a little drop, you can grab this colourful screw. Next, we're going from the same starting point you can see here, but this time we're going to turn the camera right, and just up ahead you can see a big set of scaffolding with another shiny purple screw on top. So climb up the ladder, and for this one we will need to use the Rotom Glide, so make sure you have that. Just walk off, let yourself drop a little bit, and then use the glide to land on the lower platform here, where you can pick up this item, walk across the small plank, climb up the ladder, and then one more plank to grab that screw. Again, remember you can turn the camera straight down and go really slow if you need to, but bam, here is this next screw's location. Next up, we're starting from the restaurant Lanar. I do love all of the naming of the restaurant. You've got Lanar, Lawao, and a bunch of other ones. But we're just going to head over here and climb up the ladder to get on the roof that's just basically nearby. And you can see after a small Rotom Glide or dodge roll, if you don't have the glide yet, you can get across to grab this next colorful screw. Now we're going from Cafe Cyclone, and you can see we want to head and run right immediately and down the steps alongside the river or the canal. And you can see there's a bunch of scaffolding here nearby. So make your way around the back, climb up the ladder, go up the ramp, and you'll see there's a little bit of a gap that we need to cross. You can do this with a dodge roll and then climb up the next ladder. Turn around on this plank and just walk across. Remember, go really slow if you're struggling. Turn the camera down if you're struggling. You should be able to get across and grab this next one. Next, we'll go from Cafe Cyclone again. There's a couple we can grab nearby here. We're going to go left immediately, and you'll see there'll be a little archway to go into the courtyard of this building. If you haven't already killed the sludge that's there, you can use a water-type move, and then use the elevator to get to the rooftop. From here, we're going to have to do a little bit of running to grab that colorful screw that's right next to us on the other side. So head up these ramps, and we want to loop around the building, basically. So go up these ramps, and you can see we can loop around the side, and then we can either just walk or dodge roll off to get on this other part of the building where the colorful screw is on the top. And again, from Cafe Cyclone, we're going to do a similar route as we just did for the last one, but instead we're going to go to a different rooftop nearby that has another screw location. So head inside the archway, use a water type move on the sludge if it's still there blocking you, go on up the elevator, and once again we're going to have to go to the right and climb up this scaffolding, but instead at the top we're going to go straight forward. You can see the colorful screw in the background to the left. So head on up this scaffolding, jump up on the roof, climb the next ladder, and there'll be a little walkway that we can go across to get to the next rooftop. You can see there's a little walkway here. Do a dodge roll and you'll land, and you should make it. You can also Rotom Glide if you have it. Then just sweep around to the left, and you'll see it's on this little cabin kind of rooftop, this doorway. So you're going to have to walk off and do a clever Rotom Glide and kind of control it to land on top. Then for this next one, we're going to go from Wild Zone 2, so a pretty early one that you can grab. I'm going to run around the right and loop all the way around, as you can see. So follow me along this right side as we go. This wild zone is pretty cool, actually, because you can get a load of Magikarp, which if you stick with them, you can get some Gyarados. But just up ahead, you'll see a load of scaffolding once you've looped around as far as we did. Climb on up and head on up the ladder here. And you'll see there'll be a little bit of almost parkour. There'll be some planks and some more ladders to climb. So keep on going up. There's a few items that you could totally grab along the way. Why not? And then head across this plank. And from here, there's going to be quite the gap. So you're going to have to do a dodge roll into a Rotom Glide to make it across, and then climb this final ladder up. There'll be a ramp, and bam, right at the top of all of this is our next colorful screw. Now, our next one is a continuation from where we just were, as it's basically on this rooftop. So if you don't know how to get here, just watch the last location. Otherwise, run across the rooftop, drop down into the courtyard, as you can see here with all the Mega Shards, and right at the back by the tree is another colorful screw, pretty close together and pretty easy to grab. Then we're going to go from the cafe here, the one that's right near the middle, and just straight up turn around, and there'll be a tiny little bit of scaffolding. A really easy one here. Just climb up the ladder, walk off towards the ramp. You can dodge roll if you're worried, and bam, you've got it. And from the same cafe here on the map, there's another one we can grab. So swing your camera around. You'll see if you walk exactly where we're going down this sort of little alleyway, there'll be a ton of scaffolding with a colorful screw up above. So on this scaffolding, just climb up the ladder, and there'll be a little bit of careful walking to do with planks here. So you can see there's a very long, thin plank. Turn the camera down, tilt your stick a little slower if you're struggling to get across, drop down, and then cross the next one to get that big, purple, glowing, colorful screw. And for this one, we can start from Prism Tower, right in the middle of the map. As soon as you spawn, turn all the way around and run down the road. Just as we are, there'll be a left turn with some stairs, as you can see, so head on up these stairs as we are. Keep left until you see a ladder that goes to the roof of all of these buildings. So we're going to climb up this ladder, and then we're going to go a little ways to get our next colorful screw. So when you're at the top of the ladder, head left, vault up on the green rooftop here, loop around, and you'll see there'll be a load of boxes and things. You can simply walk off and do a rotom glide to get across. You don't have to dodge roll or anything like that. Then just keep following the rooftop all the way around, and you'll see right at the end of the curve here, right at the bottom, we can grab the next colorful screw. Next up, we're going to start from the cafe here on the map, and we're going to head left and head on down. There'll be another left up ahead we'll take. This one will require a rotom glide across some scaffolding, but other than that, it's pretty easy to grab. So as you can see, we're going to take this second left, as we said, and there's a bunch of scaffolding here. So loop around the stairs to get up top, and then climb up the stairs here, the ramp, and then go up the ladder. From here, you're going to have to do a walk over and rotom glide, try to land on top and not fall down the gaps, and there's our next colorful screw. Now we're going to start from the Pokemon Center here on the lower left of the map, and we're going to loop around this corner here, and what we want to do is get up to the rooftops. It's a pretty straightforward venture from the rooftops, but we're going to need to get all the way down here to the elevator that you can see in the distance here. So look for this big yellow elevator, run up to it, and head on up to the rooftop. From the rooftop here, loop around to the right. There'll be a ladder just up ahead, and we just want to follow this rooftop all the way along, as there's a colorful screw basically on the other side down in this direction. So keep on heading in this same direction that we are. It's pretty much a one-way path. And then you're going to drop down, climb up the sort of ramp of the roof here, and you'll see a bunch of Mega Shards blocking the ladder. So call out one of your Pokemon, do any kind of attack, will do it, clear them out so you can climb up the ladder here. And as you'll see, when you climb up the ladder and get on the next rooftop, just up ahead is our next colorful screw. Next up, we have two locations that you can get to from the Pokemon Research Lab. So from the lab, as you can see, turn the camera around and head down the road to the left. It's going to be a bit of a run, but you can see just in the distance, there's a tall bit of scaffolding, and it actually has two colorful screws in it, which is pretty nice. So we can get two with this one area and this one run. You're going to have to go all the way down the back to the ladder. And I will say this one's pretty easy. There's no crazy stuff here. It's just more planks and ladders and stuff like that. So if you're used to walking across those planks by now, then you should have this. Otherwise, just take your time and do it slow. You can see there's a bunch of planks to go across, and at the top, there'll be a colorful screw, and then you can just jump down to the next one. So slowly go across the thin plank, grab the colorful screw here at the top, and there's another one just down below. If you just walk off, you can grab the second one here as well. Next up, we're going from Cafe Truck number 2. And if you just turn from here, you'll see there's a ton of scaffolding nearby. And this scaffolding has another screw. So head on up the ladder, climb up the ramp, up the next ladder. And it's not really anything too complicated that you need to do here. You just want to walk off onto this platform, or you can dodge roll and then grab this colorful screw. The next one's from the blue Pokemon Center you can see here. And we want to loop around the left inside the courtyard past the fountain. And we're going to go all the way down here past the grassy area to the ladder at the back right. This is another really easy one, so just head on up the ladder, and at the top of the ladder, you're going to loop around to the left because the colorful screw is just ahead of us to the left. So you can see when we get up to the rooftop, we want to vault up on the blue roof, head around the left, and bam, the colorful screw is right here. Next, we're starting at the Vernal Pokemon Center. This one's again in a ton of scaffolding. So loop around to the left as we are, and you'll see there's some stairs up to the right with a bunch of scaffolding here. We're going to want to get to the scaffolding and get to the top for the next colorful screw. There'll be a dodge roll that's required. So climb up the ladder, turn around and dodge roll across, and then we can climb up the next ladder here And over the little plank, there'll be another colorful screw to grab. So grab this one. And the next one's in a similar area, but we'll run again from the center just to make it easier. So here we have the next one, again from the Pokemon Vernal Center. You can loop around the left, and we're going to go to the same bit of scaffolding as before. So head on up these stairs here on the right. But this time we want to get to the rooftop. So we're going to climb this scaffolding all the way to get on top of the roof. So climb the ladder here once again. Do a dodge roll to get across. Climb up the ladder. And you're going to see we're going to have to basically do a rotom glide to land on this roof. And from here, we can loop back around, and there'll actually be a little drop off that we want to do. You can see drop down here, then just run across and turn right. You'll see there'll be a ladder heading up even higher to a higher rooftop. Climb up this ladder, vault up with all the mega shards, destroy them if you want the mega shards. Hey, why not? Otherwise, drop down and go across this bridge, and you'll see the colorful screw is right here at the end. Next, we're starting from Wild Zone 16, and this is a doubler. We're going to get 2 from here. Turn around, and you'll see there's this massive block of scaffolding. And as said, there are 2 in this spot, so hey, pretty good. Loop around the back as we have, head up the ramp, and go across the planks. It's pretty straightforward on this one. There isn't anything too crazy, so just follow our path along. Head up this ladder, and you'll see you'll get your first colorful screw here. And then we're going to have to basically do a dodge or a rotom glide to get across, whatever works for you. Loop around, and you'll see there'll be another ladder right at the back here past the item. And right at the very top, there'll be the second colorful screw for us. So head up here, climb up the little ramp of the plank. Go slow if you're a little worried that you'll fall off, because you don't have to do it all over again. You can see the colorful screw is right here at the very top. Next, we're going from the cafe truck number 2 again, but this one has a bit of a longer run to get this screw. And we actually want to go down into this watery area through the sort of sewer. I'm not sure if it's a sewer or an actual watery area. I think there's a part of the story where they actually refer to it as a sewer, so we're going to head through the sewer. If you haven't already made the ice bridge there, you can just do different types of attacks on it. Obviously, fire will work quite well there as well. And climb up the ladder on the side here, and you'll see there'll be some more stairs with a big ladder heading up to the rooftops down the end of this little courtyard here. So run on down and climb up to the roof here. And what we're going to have to do is loop around some of the rooftops to get to this next colorful screw spot. So you can see, climb on all the way up and then look around to the right. When you head around to the right here, you can drop down, and there's another ladder up ahead. So we need to climb up this ladder so we can drop on that smaller rooftop there with the colorful screw just on the left. So climb up the ladder, turn around, line it up, walk off, and bam, you've got it. Next up from Cafe Soleil, there's actually 2 screws we can grab. They're in a scaffolding together, so pretty easy. Just head left from the cafe as we have, and you'll see there'll be an alleyway we can go down here to the right. Keep following this down, and just up ahead, you should see a ton of scaffolding, and there'll be 2 here that we can grab in one easy run. So follow my path from this central point, because you need to drop in to climb up this ladder, and then there'll be some more planks that we need to walk across to make our way through the scaffolding. So head on across these planks. As you can see, I use my camera and I look down to make it easier. Do a dodge roll to get across the gap. And just behind the boxes here, you can get your first colorful screw. Then just head on up further, and there'll be a ladder around here on the side. So climb this ladder, and our second colorful screw is right here. Super easy to grab for these ones. The next one, we're going to show the full run from Cafe Soleil, but if you've just done the last one, you can stay there on the scaffolding. So we're going to run left and take this alleyway to the right, and we're going to follow this along as there will be that same scaffolding block down here. And we want to use that scaffolding to get to the roof this time. So if you're just doing this location, obviously follow along. Otherwise, if you're at the top of the scaffolding, great, you're already partway there. You have to head inside, as we said before, and climb up and go through these planks to actually get on the rooftop this time. So just go straight across, dodge roll over the gap, climb up the ladder, and we're going to head on up to the roof. Alright, now that we're on the rooftop here, you want to loop around the right side and follow our path along. Go past all of these chimneys, and you'll see there'll be a ton of these glass sort of triangle rooftop bits in between all the buildings. You want to run across here until you get to this ladder that's down on the left sort of side, climb on up, and you can see a faint purple glow just up to the right here behind the little doorway, the little cabin entrance exit point, and here on the map you'll find it. Next, we're going from Cafe Soleil again, and we're actually going to head to the same scaffolding, but we're going to go a different way. So I'll show the full route from the fast travel point so it's easier that you don't get lost. So from Cafe Soleil, head down this same alleyway and look for the scaffolding up ahead. We once again need to use this to get to the rooftop, but at the very top we're going to turn left instead of right. So head on to the middle point here, drop down, climb the ladder, and just parkour your way up through this segment. And I would be interested to know, what are your guys' thoughts on these scaffolding areas that are best just scattered around the whole map? And a lot of them you actually want to climb for various items. And of course, these screws, there's a lot of these screws in these scaffoldings. So I would love to know what everyone thinks of the map, of the design, scaffolding, and all that kind of stuff. Tell me down below. Now, on the rooftop, we're going to head left this time, as you can see. And we're going to keep going left. We want to get very high up to get this next colorful screw. So loop around to the left and you'll see there's a ladder going up this very tall part of the building. So climb all the way up this ladder. And on the other side of this very high rooftop, there'll be a little drop down with the colorful screw. You can see a drop down with a load of mega shards to grab and the colorful screw right here. And next we're going from Cafe Soleil once again, but this time we're going to take a slightly different route, because right behind the cafe is this scaffolding with a colorful screw on it. So now we're just going to grab this one that is right here. So climb up the scaffolding as I have, and there'll be a long, thin plank to go across. You can take your time, you can turn the camera down to help. And for this, we will have to do a rotom glide to get across. So just rotom glide across, land on the raised platform, loop around to the ladder, and the colorful screw is right here. Next, we're heading from Cafe Soleil again, but this one's actually in a different spot and really easy. We're going to head left, and instead of turning down that right alleyway, we're just going to go straight, and you can see there's some scaffolding up ahead on the left. Now, there's one tucked away inside of this that's kind of easy to miss if you don't know it's in there. So run on up to the back of the scaffolding. You can see the purple below there. And we just want to walk across and carefully drop down here so we stay on the scaffolding, loop back down, and here it is. Now from Cafe Gallant, there's another really easy one to grab. Just turn the camera around to the right as we did, walk down the road, and you'll see there's a tiny bit of scaffolding with a really easy screw to grab on top. So just climb your way up the little ramp here, loop around, and bam, another colorful screw. Super easy. Next, we're going from Cafe Gallant again, but this time we're going to try and get in a little courtyard that's nearby some rooftops that's only accessible from the roof. So take the elevator here that's nearby, and then when we're on the roof, look left, and what we want to do is loop all the way around this building over to the right. So follow the rooftop along, and we want to get to that bridge on the right-hand side. It's a pretty easy run around. Go past the sort of green area here. Some nice benches there if you want to farm some Pokemon. Bench spamming's pretty good for shiny farming if that is your thing. Otherwise, go across the bridge to this next rooftop, and just down below in this little courtyard, you can see right tucked away in the corner is another colorful screw for us. Alright, so from the cafe truck number 3 this time, what we're going to do is loop around and go the opposite way that the cafe is. We need to find some scaffolding that will have 2 screw locations in it. Follow this road down, loop around to the right, you'll see this sort of tennis court looking walled off bit and a bunch of scaffolding behind it here. If the rocks are blocking your path, use a fighting type move or a dragon type move to break those rocks. Otherwise, begin our journey through the scaffolding. As you can see, there's a dodge roll here to get across, and we're trying to get to that colorful screw first, which is tucked down below. So head across this plank. Remember, you can slow walk or look down on your camera to help. And just walk off, and you should be able to clip on the little lower platform here, which is right here on the map, where you can grab the first of these 2 colorful screws. But there is another one here in this scaffolding, so grab that one first, and then we need to head higher up to get the second one. So follow us along, climb on up the ladder, and tell me, what do you guys think of all these little climbing and almost parkour challenges? Do you like this in your Pokemon games or not? Tell me down below in the comments. Now this time we're back to where we were, but instead of walking off, we're just going to keep progressing up the scaffolding to get higher up. There'll be a little thin couple planks to go across, as you can see here. And what we actually want to do is just drop off to the right. You can do a dodge roll, but if you drop off, you can just use the ramp, so it's not too bad. Climb on up to the roof, and bam, we have our second one from this area. Next, we're starting from Cafe Rolo, and you can see here, if you turn to the left, you want to go inside of Wild Zone 9, as in here is a bunch of scaffolding with a colourful screw near the sort of middle top part. So head on up the ladder, you can ignore those rocks for now, follow along the pathway that we go, and you will see there'll be a little drop down that you need to do here to climb the second ladder, and around the corner here should be an easy to grab colourful screw. Next, we're starting from the cafe truck number 3, and what we want to do is head on up to the rooftop. So we're going to loop backwards, and we're going to go back to the scaffolding that we were previously at to access the roof this time. So loop around past the sort of tennis court looking sports pitch there, and head to the scaffolding, and just make your way up to the very top of the roof following the path that we take. So climb on up the ladder here. There'll be a little ramp and a plank to cross. And then you basically want to either walk or rotom glide across that gap. And there'll be a few more planks to go through and make our way up to the very top. We've already got the screws here from the previous location, so we don't have to worry about dropping down again. Just keep making our way to the very top of the roof. There'll be another sort of jump point here. It doesn't matter if you rotom glide it, if you drop, or you dodge roll, because the ramp is there to help you get up. Now, when you're on the rooftop, what you want to do is loop around to the left. You can see we're going to the left. We just swing the camera around, and there'll be a ladder here heading us even higher up. We want to head quite high up here, as this screw is actually on the top of a little roof bit that we need to rotom glide over to. So head on up the second ladder here at the very, very top. There'll be some bell sprouts and stuff like that around, and you can see on this little standalone rooftop, if we rotom glide across, we can grab this colourful screw. Next, from Cafe Rolo once again, this is a 2-for-1, so there'll be 2 screws. Now, instead of going into Wild Zone 9, we're going to run all the way around it, as there is some scaffolding all the way on the other side of this entire Wild Zone. So run around the back here, turn right, and keep on heading down. And basically in a big bit of scaffolding up ahead that we'll get to soon, there'll be 2 screw locations for us to grab. So keep looping around following the edge of the Wild Zone, and you'll see at this split intersection, you can turn right, head on up the ladder of the scaffolding here, and there'll be 2 to grab. You see we just climbed past one. We'll have to do a little parkour to grab it. So roll across, and then what you want to do is rotom glide back to grab this first colourful screw. Right here where the ladder is, pretty easy to get. The second one's a little higher up, so once you've grabbed that, rotom glide your way back across, or drop down and climb back up. Loop around to the ladder here and climb to the top. This next one is going to be right at the end of the top here. You can see just over these planks, another easy one to grab. And then from the Magenta Pokemon Center, we're going to get our next colourful screw, number 49. You guys are almost halfway there if you've been following along. So we want to head on to the sort of southwest away from the point, and you can see in this little bit of scaffolding is a super easy one to grab. So loop around the back, climb on up the ladder, and you'll see it's just over there. But how do we get there? Well, just drop down, run across, climb the ladder, and bam, really easy to get this one, super easy. Next, we're heading over to the Magenta Pokemon Center, so fast travel here and follow along with me. We're going to turn left and then right down the alleyway to this scaffolding, which we're simply going to jump up and then roll across to land on top, and carefully go across these boxes to grab the colourful screw here. Next, we're going to go from Magenta Pokemon Center once again, so fast travel here, but this time we're going right and straight down the road. You'll see there is one of these yellow platforms up ahead to teleport to a rooftop, so teleport up to the top, and you can see there'll be a bridge. Run across the bridge on the right, and follow just as I do, running across and then doing a rotom glide to get over the gap. Hop on up, turn left, and you can see the magical screw is right here. Next up, we're also going from the Magenta Pokemon Center and then head left. You'll see there's some scaffolding down in the distance, and there's actually 2 different colorful screws in this scaffolding, so we'll grab them both together to save a bit of time. So run on up the little ramp and climb up these ladders, and there'll be some rotom gliding to do just above us. So climb all the way to the top, just like I am, and we're going to go for the one on the left first. So line yourself up diagonally, run and jump across, do a rotom, and there we go. We can grab this one right here. And we're going to do another rotom glide across this other gap to get the last one. And remember, you can control the rotom glide a little bit with your directional input to make it a bit easier. Next up, we're going from Quasartico Inc. So fast travel here and follow along with me, turning just to the right. And we want to go around the back right down here through this alleyway where there'll be a bunch of scaffolding, and there's 2 screws to get in this one run, so it's pretty efficient. You'll see there's all of this scaffolding, run inside around the back to where area Wild Zone 18 is, climb up the ladder, up the ramp, and up the ladder again. They're both pretty close to each other, and they're both pretty easy to get here, so don't worry too much. Up the ramp and the final ladder across this plank, and then there'll be 2 more ladders to get up to the roof. And just up the next ladder ahead will be one of the screws that you can grab just at the top here, as you can see. And then what we want to do is pick that up and then turn around. Just behind us, there'll be another ladder going even higher on the rooftop. And once you climb on up there, run across to the other side of this rooftop and drop down to get that next colorful screw. Next, we're going from the Centrico Pokemon Center, so fast travel here, or run here if you haven't got it to get it as a fast travel point, because it's always handy to have more. We're going to run past this sort of tennis court area, down to the right, and there's going to be an alleyway ahead between these big buildings, so just follow along my route, and as you see, just as you come down here, there'll be a bunch of scaffolding. We want to go on up the ramps, and the screw is basically at the top end of this scaffolding area, so follow my pathway until you get to this jump, which you can just roll across, climb up the ladder, and carefully walk across this plank to get the next colorful screw, which is right here. And for this next one, we're starting at the Centrico Pokemon Center. So from here, spin around, and you'll see there'll be that sort of tennis court looking place to the left. Ignore that and go straight on down the alleyway, and you'll see there'll be a bunch of scaffolding with 2 for us to grab here, so 2 to 1, pretty nice. You want to start from this point here on the right, do the little walk across, climb up the ladder. There'll be a plank, and on this plank there's some raised bits. We need to dodge roll to get down there. As you can see, it's not the easiest dodge roll to do. You do have to line yourself up well, but luckily if you fall off just like I did there, you can simply try again. It's pretty quick and easy to do. So just climb your way up and look exactly where I'm stood for this next dodge roll. On the raised platform here, dodge rolling off and landing exactly on top of it. So try to really line it up with that little dodge roll that I just did there. It might take a couple goes, but hey, that's normal. It's still quite easy once you give it a few goes, so don't be disheartened if you do fall off. For the next one though, just repeat the same loop. We want to climb up even higher this time. So instead of dodge rolling down, we're going to dodge roll across, and then we're going to rotom glide across, as you can see here, climb up the ladder, and the next screw is right here at the very top. Next up, we're starting from Wild Zone 3, and we can grab 3 colorful screws in this one little run, as they're all close to each other. It's going to be so easy to do it this way. So run on up to the elevator here on the left. If you haven't done it already, there's a small side quest where you need to battle him. Super easy. When you're at the top, loop around to the right, and just behind this little bit here is a ladder, so we can climb up to the even higher rooftop. Now from this high rooftop, we can access all 3 locations. You can see there's one just across the plank here, really easy to get, so grab this. And then there's actually 2 more just down to the right in some scaffolding, and we can grab them both really easily from this spot here. You'll see there's one just below us. If we just do a little diagonal runoff, we can grab it. When you've grabbed that, you can then just rotom glide across the gap to get the 3rd one. So pretty handy, 3 for 1 here without having to do anything too crazy. And next, we're going to start from the Sushi High Roller Spot Cafe. So just fast travel there, loop around, and do the elevator that's directly opposite on the road. So from the top here, we now want to head on up to the right. There'll be a bunch of these mega shards around. I recommend just grabbing them while you're doing this, as you do want to have a good reserve of them. Remember, you can buy XP candies, you can buy new mega stones and stuff like that with them. But just for this now, let's just keep looping around the rooftop, and there'll be a ladder up ahead, so just follow my path. And just on the opposite side, you'll see just down here is another colorful screw to grab, and a Pidgey there if you want to go and capture him. Next, we're starting from Wild Zone 3 again. We're going to head to the left and go back up to the rooftop from this same elevator as before, but we're going to go a different pathway this time. The 3 that we got before were pretty nicely bundled together, but for this one, we're going to have to actually go around the left instead of the right. So follow along the rooftop along the left. And as said before, I recommend grabbing these shards along the way. If you haven't already destroyed the web here, use a ranged Pokemon attack or a flying Pokemon to attack it, and that will make you the web bridge. But you can see we want to get across this plank here on the right, then head left and jump up and run across the vines, and right there is another colorful screw. Next up, we're going from Quasartico Inc. to get another colorful screw. So turn around and follow the road just as I'm going through the sort of line of trees. We want to go all the way down the end here, as down around this corner is going to be our next colorful screw spot. So around this corner, you'll see there is an elevator. So take the elevator up to the rooftop. From this rooftop, just loop around the right, and you'll see there's a little bridge just up ahead. We're going to follow this bridge along, and we're basically going to go all the way down here to get where we need to for the colorful screw, which is in that middle platform. So head on down across the plank, loop around, climb on up, and you'll see tucked around this corner is a ladder. With this Pidgeot or Pidgeotto, we can then grab the colorful screw. Next, we're going from Restaurant Layer, my favorite restaurant in the game. Which one's yours? Tell me down below. But just around the corner, we can actually loop around the alleyway, and just around to the right, we can keep going. And you'll see there's a ladder up ahead. We want to climb up this ladder, as this next colorful screw is basically in the middle part above this building where all the clothes shops are. So we need to get on the rooftop. This ladder's the easiest way to get there from that nearby fast travel point. Climb on up, and you'll see just on the glass bit up ahead is the next colorful screw. Pretty easy to get this one as well. Now we're going to go from Wild Zone 18 for this one. We don't want to go inside though, we want to turn around, because just up ahead of us is a bunch of scaffolding with 2 colorful screws. So we can grab 2 for doing this, but we will have to do a little bit of parkour for this. It might take you a couple tries. Tell me how many tries this took you. But you can see you want to dodge roll across each of these gaps. It's pretty easy to do. Just make sure you give yourself enough leeway and runway to do it. So a triple dodge roll to get across, climb up to grab the first colorful screw, which is right here. And you can see the next one is in this little cross platform. So you need to rotom glide across, and it's just on this little plank here. So carefully walk across this plank to grab the second one. And next, we're starting from the Looker Bureau. So fast travel here, and then head around to the right and follow the pathway that I'm going. You'll see there'll be a sort of sports court, tennis court style thing there. We want to loop around the left, because just at the back here on the building is a ladder that will take us all the way up to the roof. So climb on up this ladder to the very top. Now, when you're at the top of the ladder, you can see the colorful screw is just there ahead of us, but to get there, you could just rotom glide across. If you don't want to do that, or you don't have the rotom glider yet, follow the path I'm taking. You can loop all the way around the edge of this rooftop to run over to it. And look, there's a nice rare candy there to grab as well, so it kind of makes it worth it just going around. I think I've collected about 20 or 25 rare candies so far. I am saving them when my Pokemon gets to around level 80, so I can juice it to 100, be a bit more efficient. But just at the end here, you can see our next colorful screw. Next up, we're again going from the Looker Bureau, but we will be taking a slightly different path. So head in the same route for now. You'll see there's that tennis sports court up ahead, but there's actually some scaffolding right nearby us. So we want to head on up this scaffolding. There'll be a couple ramps to do and then a dodge roll or rotom glide to make it across. So gingerly get yourself on top of this little black box there, do a dodge roll across, and you've got it. Next up, we're starting from Wild Zone 4, and this will be another doubler. So from here, we can just turn around, and you'll see there's a scaffolding, and there will be a weird dodge roll, a diagonal dodge roll to make here. You might not get it your first try like that, but hey, just give it a couple more goes, and you should be able to grab it quite easily. If you can't do this diagonal dodge roll, you can see I'm about to do it here. We'll land on the top and we can grab it. If you can't do it, don't worry, there is a way to drop down from the roof, because the next one we're going to get is on the roof directly above this. I find the dodge roll is a bit easier to do, so that's my preference there, but you could always drop off from the roof. But head on over to the elevator here and then loop around to the right, and there'll be a big dodge roll rotom glide we need to do. So you can see just up ahead, there'll be another one with a bunch of pansies and stuff. So run off and then do a rotom glide, or dodge roll off and do a rotom glide, grab that colorful screw. Next, we're starting from the Rogue Pokemon Center. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it, but this will have 2 new screws for us inside of this big scaffolding platform. So the scaffolding platform is right next to it, as you can see, and there's going to be 2 that we need to grab along the way. So climb up the ladder, dodge roll across through this gap, and you'll see there'll be another ladder to climb on up. Climb all the way up top, and for the first one we need to then turn around and dodge roll over to grab this one. So grab that first one with that dodge roll, but then we need to go back and we need to get higher up on the other side for the final one here. So from this point we now just gingerly walk down, land on this point, and there'll be a couple very thin planks. This might take a couple goes if you fall off, but otherwise just follow along with us, walk across these planks, and there'll be a second plank with a dodge roll that you need to make. So climb on up this second plank, and you'll see you're going to have to dodge roll across. Pretty easy stuff. And then there'll be a third thin plank to finally get that last screw here at the end. Next up will be at Hotel Richizime, I think that's how you say it, but there's 3 colorful screws near here that we can grab. So turn around and head on down the road to the right here, and you'll see just up ahead there'll be a little archway that we can head on inside to this small courtyard. In this courtyard is a ton of scaffolding, but there's 3 screws we can grab from this whole area. So follow along with me, climb up this first ladder, take the left, and with a small rotom glide, remember you can directionally control the rotom glide. You can make it to this first point for the colorful screw. The second one is just down ahead of us, so what you want to do is walk across, keep holding forwards on your movement as you do that rotom glide, because you will clip and land easily to get the second one, so you don't have to time anything there, just hold forwards. For the third one in this area though, we basically need to climb to the end to the top, which isn't too hard to be honest, it's just a few more jumps and climbs. So you can see, climb up this next ladder, there'll be another rotom glide across this gap to do, and that was probably the hardest one to do, and now we just need to go across, and you can see there's a final rotom glide here to get that last and third colorful screw from this spot. Now again from Hotel Richizime, I'm going to keep calling it that, I hope that's how you say it. We're going to get another colorful screw, but we're going to have to actually go up that whole scaffolding structure to the rooftops. So if you've just done that, hold tight where you are on the scaffolding, otherwise follow along with me. We've already got all the ones in the scaffolding, so we can just bolt it up to the very top of the roof. So climb up the ladder, and there should be another ladder up ahead with a gap that we need to rotom glide across. So rotom glide across this gap, and then head on across to that next ladder that takes us even higher up. So head on up here, as you can see I am, and make your way to the top of the roof. Now when you're at the rooftop, turn right and follow along with me. There's a bunch of different ways you can go here, but this is the way that I found works best. So there is a drop down here. We want to do a running Rotom Glide to get across. There's a bunch of Mega Shards. You can grab them. I recommend grabbing them as I have with all the other locations. While you're doing this, you can really stock up on quite a few. But otherwise, make your way up. Remove the blocking shards here from the ladder, because just up this ladder is our next colorful screw. I used my shiny Alpha Dragonite there to do it. I really love that Pokemon. It took quite a few hours to grab it though. So if you do like it, we will have a video on the channel for that, but it did take quite a few hours of farming to get it. Next up, we're going from the Hibernal Pokemon Center. From here, just turn all the way around, and just ahead of us in the sort of semi-distance, you can see some scaffolding, and this is the scaffolding we're going to want to go up to get our next colorful screw. Nothing too crazy here, just follow the scaffolding along as I am. And you can see there'll be a ladder around the back. Climb on up this ladder, and then with a small Rotom Glide, you can just grab this next colorful screw. And next up, we're going from the same Pokemon Center as before, because there is a few around this area, and we're going to get 2 this time, so pretty nice, 2 for 1. Follow along the same way as before, but taking a left here, and you can see there will be a elevator in the distance. We want to use this elevator. We're going to have to do some crazy jumps for this one, guys, so it might take a couple of tries, but hey, you've got the video to replay if you need to see the exact angles. That's the first one we're going to grab over there on the next building over, and we're going to have to do a crazy dodge roll Rotom Glide. So dodge roll off the rooftop to get some extra distance, then spam A to Rotom Glide across, and you can see we can grab this colorful screw. And then what we're going to want to do is get to the next one after this, which you can see is just down ahead inside that building. But to get there, we're going to have to go back to the rooftop that we were just on. So fly your way over, go up the elevator again, and this time instead of going right, we're going to go left. We need to loop all the way over to get this next one. So loop across past this sort of scaffolding, past these little Pokemons, and you'll see there'll be a ladder up ahead that we need to use to get enough height to cross that gap and that distance. So climb on up, and you'll see just across here we can do another Rotom Glide. You don't have to dodge roll this one, just hold forwards and Rotom Glide, loop down to this lower section, and then we can simply walk or roll onto this next colorful screw here. Next up, again from the same Pokemon Center, as we said, there is a few in this area, but this time we're going to loop around the right, and you'll see there's some scaffolding by the elevator here. So for this one, it's a pretty straightforward climb up to grab it. So loop around the back, there'll be a ladder that you can climb all the way up, and then it's going to be a triple dodge roll, or double dodge roll, sorry, to get across and grab this next colorful screw. So just dodge across as I did and grab it. It might take a couple goes. Next up, we're starting from Restaurant Luau, another amazing named restaurant, and just on the corner here, there's a ton of scaffolding. But to get this colorful screw, there's a weird drop down that you need to do here. So on that little crossing plank, you want to drop down so you can get this ladder here, climb up the top of this ladder. That lets us dodge roll to the next ladder, which takes us to the rooftop. And from the rooftop, we can just walk along, and you can see you can just walk along, dodge roll over, and grab that colorful screw. Now from Restaurant Luau, we can also grab 2 more screw locations, but this time we need to turn all the way around, and you'll see some stairs opposite. Climb up these stone steps, and you'll see just up ahead on the right is a big bit of scaffolding that we need to climb up. There's 2 in this area we can grab, 1 in the scaffolding and 1 on the roof just nearby. So climb up the scaffolding, and you'll see there's 1 just across this plank. You can just walk across and grab it. After doing some testing, you can simply just walk up and grab it, but in my gameplay here, I actually climbed up the top of the roof and dropped off on top of it. But hey, don't worry, you can just walk up to it. You don't have to do this crazy drop like I am. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. So grab this one, and then we want to head back on up to the top of the roof of the second one. So while we're here, instead of running anywhere else, just head on up the ladder to the roof, and then at the very back of the building, there'll be a second one. So as you can see on the roof, we just want to run around the back right, and you can see just around the back will be another one we need to climb up and just slowly walk off so you don't drop down to grab the second one. Now for this next one, I'm going to show the full run from Restaurant Luau again, but we're going to that same scaffolding because we need to go to a different rooftop at the top this time instead of where we just were. So from Restaurant Luau, just run around to the scaffolding again as we have here and make your way up to the top of the roof. This time at the top of the roof, we basically want to do a big jump to the roof opposite on the sort of back left here. So get ready to do a little rotom glide once you're at the top. So climb your way up as we have. Stay on the very edge here of the roof, just outside the railing. Give yourself a bit of a run up to run across and get across this gap here. On this rooftop, it's pretty close by. You can see just around the corner with all those mega shards and past a Dratini spawn is another colorful screw for us. Next up from the Pokemon Center here, there's another screw that we can grab. So from here, we want to head on up to the roof via the elevator that's just around the side here. And there'll be a little run to make and a web to pop. So bring a Pokemon with a ranged attack or a flying Pokemon to help you do this if you haven't already done this. But loop around the left of the roof like we have, and you'll see there'll be one of these web bridges to pop. So use any kind of move you like. I'm using my flying Dratini here, which works really well. There's a TM up there if you want to loop around and grab that, but otherwise drop down into this small little section here with all the Abras and grab that next colorful screw. And hey, grab an Abra here while you're at it. Now from the same Pokemon Center, we need to get to a slightly different rooftop, and to do this, we're going to have to loop backwards to the left, and just up ahead, there'll be an elevator. Now, if you haven't done it before, this elevator is blocked by a couple of Pokemon that you will have to battle, a small side quest, but it's literally just one battle when it's done. You can see here, you'll have to challenge these two Pokemon to a fight. Super easy, they just die really quick depending on what your level is, but there's no fetch quests or anything like that. You can just easily defeat them. Activate the elevator so you can get up top. From up top, you want to follow me along to the right here, and in the courtyard down below with all of these different scaffoldings all scattered around the place, we want to get one colorful screw that is hidden away inside. So drop on down as I am, climb up the ramps, go across all of these planks, and you'll see there's a colorful screw hidden down below. So what you want to do is rotom glide across the gap and then turn around, drop down and do a delayed rotom glide so you land on the lower platform here. So grab that colorful screw and it's yours. Next up, we're going from the Juan Pokemon Center. I think that's how you say it. From here, there's some scaffolding right next to it, and we can basically walk all the way around the back to grab this one. So head on up these stone steps. There'll be this raised plank that we can use to get all the way around. And it's pretty straightforward for this one, just don't drop off on these planks, but they are double lined, so it's not too difficult. There'll be a ladder right at the end that we can climb up, and then there'll be some single planks to go across with another ladder ahead. So move across these single planks, climb up this ladder, and just at the top here will be our next colorful screw. Now from this same Pokemon Center, we can actually get two screws a little further down the road. So we've just grabbed the one in the scaffolding above us. Now we can run down this road further to the next bit of scaffolding, and there's actually one in this scaffolding and one on the rooftop that it leads to, so we can grab them both together. So work your way through the scaffolding as I am, climb on up the ladder, go across the plank here, and you should see a little drop. What you want to do is either walk or dodge roll across. The fence is there to block you from falling, so a dodge roll makes it pretty easy. And just at the top here will be the next colorful screw. So grab this one and then head onto the roof next to us. You can see the next colorful screw is just on the top of this little building bit at the end. And to get up here, we need to loop around the back in order to do it. And around the back here, you will have to use a Pokemon with either Slash or a Fire type move. I like to use Fire type moves on these vines. I'm using Flame Punch on my shiny Alpha Dratini to do it. So clear them out, climb on up, go across this plank here, and bam, your next colorful screw is yours. Now the next several will be from this same Pokemon Center spot because there's a bunch on some different rooftops that are really hard to get to, but if you follow along with me, I'll show you a few parkour routes to grab all of them. So head on up these stone steps to the elevator here up to the roof, And again, there's a bunch of different ones around here that we can go to. So to begin with, we're going to actually do a dodge roll off where we just came up and rotom glide across. And we should land right on the edge to get across to the next roof here, which is much easier to get to this way. Then we want to follow along, and there'll be a ladder just up ahead past the plank across the sort of bridging gap. Up here, we can do another rotom glide over to this Absol spawn, which you could farm here if you want to get a shiny. You could just keep running back, but it might take quite a while. But just vault on up, and just past all these mega shards you'll see is one colorful screw for us to grab. Now we're going back to the same spot, and we're going to go back up to the same rooftop, but we're going to go a different route to grab 2 more colorful screws. So head on up these stone steps like me, go on up the elevator, but this time we don't want to double back on ourselves. So from the elevator, run to the opposite side of the building, the corner here with the item, and you'll see a colorful screw on that little raised rooftop. We want to do a running dodge roll and then rotom glide to get across and land on top. So again, you need to do a running dodge roll and then rotom glide right afterwards. But once you've grabbed that, you can drop down because a second colorful screw is right here on that same rooftop, so pretty handy. Now next, we're going back from the same Pokemon Center, and we're going up to the rooftop again from the same spot because there's a ton of different colorful screws up there. It can get confusing if you do it all in one run, so it's just easier to start from the Pokemon Center each time to hopefully make it a bit easier to follow for you guys. So go on up the elevator, and this time we're heading on the right side, so just roll off the roof down by the Denny spawn here and then head across the plank. Now there'll be some scaffolding here where we can easily just rotom glide to get across. Now I've tried dodge rolling it, but rotom gliding is a lot easier. So rotom glide across and just grab the colorful screw here on the scaffolding. And there's actually one more that's really close by over in this direction. So rotom glide or climb the ladder across here, and you'll see just on the scaffolding ahead across this plank, there's another colorful screw. Because we're already on the rooftop here, we can just easily walk across and grab it. Next, we're going in a similar area again, but this one requires a very specific parkour to grab. So, once again from this same Pokemon Center, we're going to head up to the roof via this same elevator, and we're going to head to a similar direction as we just did for the last one, but again, there's a very certain rotom glide spot that you need to do to grab it. So, run on down past the Dedenne as we did before, go across the plank, and you can see there's a purple glow in that middle building just opposite. For this, we need to loop around the right across the green rooftops here like I am, and what we need to do is find this spot here, do a running rotom glide to just launch yourself onto this little balcony part where we can grab this colorful screw. Now for this next one, we can actually grab a few here near Wild Zone 8. So fast travel here, loop around to the left, and just up ahead on the left, you should see some scaffolding. There's going to be one in this scaffolding to grab and another one on the roof just nearby this scaffolding that it leads us up to, so we can grab 2 for 1 pretty easily. Climb up the ladders, and you should see with a small walking drop, you want to land yourself on that very small plank in order to walk across very slowly. It's easier if you just go slow. You can grab the colorful screw here. But now what we want to do is double our way back and go back up this scaffolding up to the top of the very roof. So to save a bit of time, let's just grab them both together. So climb up the ladders here all the way to the top of the roof. Now what we're going to have to do here is a little rotom glide in order to get onto the roof. But as you can see, pretty easy. It might take a couple goes, but it isn't too hard. Double back on yourself to find this ladder that goes to the higher section of the roof here near the fountain. Now on the other side of this fountain, we can simply drop down and grab this colorful screw. Next, we're once again starting from Wild Zone 8, as there's another one in this area that we can grab. So what we're going to do is go over just as we did before, but this time we're going to go past the actual scaffolding to the ladder here on the opposite side. This one's in a different rooftop location, but it's pretty easy to get to from this spot, so we might as well grab it while we're in this area. So climb on up, loop around the right over this plank to the blue rooftop, and you'll see there'll be a ladder just up ahead. You can't actually vault up this roof as it's a flat one, so you will have to drop down and climb on up this ladder. But just up ahead, there'll be a gap to cross with another colorful screw, so run to the very corner of the building, do a rotom glide across, grab those mega shards while you're there, and get that colorful screw. Next up, we're going from the Centrico Pokemon Center here, and what we want to do is loop around to the right, and you see I've actually pinned it here, but we want to run all the way down to the stone steps past this green tree-filled grassy area. Past these stone steps, just up ahead will be a small alleyway that we can actually go into. You can see just past the lamppost there, around this next corner, there's a small alleyway with a big ladder. So we want to go up this ladder because just down in the courtyard between this rooftops, which is only accessible from the rooftops, there's another colorful screw. So climb up the ladder, vault on top, look down the courtyard, and you can see, bam, right down there by a Haunter spawn at nighttime, you can grab the final colorful screw, and you've done it. I really hope this helped you guys out, as there's 100 locations they took ages to find and compile in this nice format for you, so I really hope this did help, and if it did help, a quick like below really helps us as well, and subscribe for more of your favorite gaming videos coming very, very soon. Here at Arix Gaming, we're two friends who love to play games. You have me, Paradise, as well as 26.
Our goal is to keep the videos as concise as possible by cutting out any of the fluff and focusing on what really matters with high quality videos.
So make sure you're subscribed down below for more videos on your favorite games coming very, very soon.